Welcome to National Hog Farmer at the Slat Level. I'm Ann Hess, and we're coming to you from World Pork Expo in Des Moines. BioCV has announced the North American launch of an intelligent sow monitoring system, and on hand to discuss this new tool is Dr. Kjaer, CEO of BioCV. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. We have launched the new sow monitoring system, an intelligent sow monitoring system, which utilizes a ear tag, where we put that in the sows, and then we measure movement of the sow. So with measuring the movement, we can find out if she is doing some sow behavior that we know, like becoming an estrus, starting to farrow, or she's lame. So with machine learning, we can combine these two combinations and get the information in to the producer.
So a producer wants to put it in, and how would it affect their operation day to day? How does it work?
So the key thing what this brings is in a way to prioritize your day. It gives you an opportunity to have peace of mind when you leave tonight, because you know that all the animals that have deviating behavior, you know where they are, you know that you attended them, you know that you did something with them. So the likelihood that you have overlooked something is very low. So this makes it easier to prioritize your very busy day and go home with a peace of mind when you're done. On the other hand, when you start in the morning, you can get a list of to-dos, things that needs to happen today, by our management system. So you can ask the system what are my to-do lists today, how many gills do I need to inseminate today, so that you bring the amount of doses into your GDU that is needed, and you know which animal to find. And if you're new and starting a new employee, that helps you find the animals that need to be attended to. So you become a better caregiver faster.
How reliable is it at detecting heat?
So the estrus detection, we have seen from a big system here in the US that we can identify estrus or heat 12 hours ahead of time with a 93% accuracy. So very high accuracy.
Absolutely. What about farrowing? How does the system help there?
So the system, again, utilizes the sow's natural behavior. So if she starts building a nest, she tries to build a nest, we can see that pattern by the way she moves her ear, or her whole body, of course. And then we can identify and we can predict that 12 to 48 hours ahead of time. And the interesting part is that there's some that has a very high level of nest building activity. They're very low risk of getting MMA, but we can also identify the risk animal with a low activity, which needs to be closer monitored because they are higher risk of MMA.
Can it help with PDS?
Yes. So, sorry, MMA, PDS. I'm an old vet, so I use the old term.
Very good. How does it help reduce lameness losses?
So, we all know that the systems are getting bigger and bigger, and labor is more and more an issue. And if you have big groups of sows, like in big pens, like 40 sows, to go in and find the lame sow is very difficult. It's just really labor intensive. But this one, with the ear tag, we measure the normal way that a sow will be walking. So we have like 2 weeks history, and then if it changes from that, then we see the result. Like, I walk like a dog, and that's normally not because I'm limping, but if I start limping, you need to make sure that this is the difference and not that Jens just walks like a dog.
So it looks pretty durable. I mean, is it durable enough for real barns?
Yes, it is. We built it so that it's both the air sac and also the receiver are really resistant to a good, robust farm environment. We have a battery in here who lasts for 2.5 to 3 years. So a normal sow's life. If you have a sow that is being called young, and you say, I just put an ear tag into it, you can take it out, reprogram it, and use for the next one.
How do producers access the information, the data they're getting from it?
So it comes either to them on their desktop or in their smartphone. So people in the barn can see immediately what needs to be addressed and attended to. So it's an app that sits there. But we don't think that producers should have 15 different apps because that's frustrating. So we are offering this with an open API so that any swine management system can integrate our information into their system so that the producer has one place to go to get the data and makes life simpler.
Well, anytime we're talking about data and collecting data from producers, we have to ask, well, who owns the data?
So our philosophy is clearly that the farmer or the producer owns the data. We will use some of the data to continue to build our algorithms. But the cool thing is that the algorithms are built on the producer's system. So if you have a certain breed or if you have a certain production system, it starts out on a good level, but it becomes even better over time because it becomes refined according to what the barn looks like or the type of animals you have in there.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's customized to your operation.
Well, it becomes optimized to your operation. So when you get it, it has a good standard, so it will work right from the get-go. But over time, you will tell the system if there is a signal that is not correct, you'll tell click on your phone and say, no, that's not correct. And then by that, the system becomes even better and better. So, for example, Duroc sows are very difficult to read. So that's where some of the people have started to using it because that gives them an advantage and becomes even more sensitive than the people who has to read them.
So what type of a ROI does this system provide?
So it depends a lot about what you do with the information. So how quick are you to react? We usually say that the payback time is less than a year. It's maybe 6 to 12 months when you have to install it first time with all the extra equipment, and then the following lactation becomes even quicker.
So farms being often remote, rural areas, do producers need any special equipment to incorporate the system, a specific type of internet connectivity?
Regular internet connectivity, it's not a lot of data that goes, so the data goes from the ear tag to a receiver with Bluetooth, and then from that into the normal internet connection you have. And it's not a lot of data. It's not like if you compare to cameras, which is really data intense. This is much less.
So once the producers decide they want to incorporate this into their system, how is the equipment installed? Can they do that themselves, or does someone from BioCV need to come by?
We'll be very closely helping them to get it on, but they really can do it themselves. So what we do is we try to assist as much as we can. Usually we just do it remote, but sometimes we will have to go to the farm and help the first time. But after the first time, people just know exactly what to do.
And even as long as they're using the product, you're there for service calls and things like that as well?
Excuse me, I didn't get it.
Are you there for service and support along the way?
We have established a U.S. entity now so that we can support it from the Midwest. And initially we had to have help from our colleagues in Germany, and they needed to stay on work very long. But
so where can people learn more or maybe see the product in action?
So we of course have a website on BioCV Info. So www.biocv info. That's the best place to do it. If you're interested in it, please contact us and we can set up a demo account so you can try it out for yourself and see if it's something that you would be interested in.
Dr. Jens Kjaer, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this new technology with us.
Thank you very much for having the opportunity to share this.
For you and our audience, we thank you for tuning in. For more conversations from At the Slat Level, be sure to check out the At the Slat page on National Hog Farmer's website. For National Hog Farmer, I'm Ann Hess.